Just doing a little testing here, loading up good old YouTube, and now, all right. So that's not bad. So what I got are a couple of like media slides that during my presentation of inking today, Crom and the Upsidedown Damsel, just going to be kind of given a behind the scenes process video on one possible way I go about inking my comics, with an addition based on, got to get this ready. Here we go. I want to learn to ink like Ken Landgraf, master study I did a couple of weeks ago. So, and the big thing is he uses screens, so he prints them. What I've done is, this is an 8.5 by 11 pencil sketch I did just with graphite, cardstock, and then I scanned it in, and then I added a screen. Now the screen's kind of interesting. Let me see if I can get the media. I'm going to show you. There it is. So this is a photo I took of a plant outside of Wegmans, which is a grocery store out around me. And I just like the alien little sense of foliage. So took that, and then I turned around and screened it. So I gave it a screen in Photoshop. And that's the screen. Then I mapped it in with the drawing. Then, of course, I gave it a transparency just on the sketch. And now I'm just going to start getting my inks together and start inking. So if you got questions, please feel free to ask. I get a bit caught up in my work. I'm also moderating 2 social media stations, coming live to you to both Instagram and YouTube. So please bear with me. I'm just using a Fudenosuke hard tip ink pen. I'm really excited. This is the first time I'm doing this screen in the background on my own, since having done that little master study of Ken's Crom that I had commissioned by him to have in. Where are you? Hey, no, not there. Where are you? There you are. That's right. I'm doing the promotion thing. This is Crom Collected 2024 Revised Edition. Was released in August of this year, 2024. 140 pages, black and white, sword and sorcery magazine size nonsense. So this was a big success. And it's leading us into a follow-up called Crom Anthology, which I'll be talking more about as these days go on, and I do these live updates. So my design for Skullbiter. So just a reminder here, I'm using this cover for my inspiration, which is an old Golden Age comic that I absolutely love. So I just use that as a kind of a quick reference point, and then went to town. Just kept thinking about my version of Crom the Barbarian. Make his nostrils flare more. Give him that Kirk Douglas chin, Spartacus chin. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus. What I like doing is, and this is where that screen's going to come in play. Once I get all this nice ink lining, laid out, then I'll put that gray, graphite wash over it, contrast my white, start hitting my black areas, and then bring it down just like any of my other works. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask. It's one of the reasons I'm here. The other reason is to inspire. Get some people out there making their own Crom the Barbarian, or just comics, fantasy art, whatever your thing is. And this is my pencil sketch, which I just scanned in and then added a screen to the back, just like Ken Landgraf. Of course, we have our upside down damsel. And then you can see this lion, Crom's trying to get in between and save the darling little thing. This just over here. Heck is that? Some notes I had. Ooh. John, thank you very much. The comment on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Back muscles. If there were any two reasons to not want to draw the human figure, it's back muscles and knees. Those were the two biggest struggling points I had when it came to learning how to draw anatomy, human anatomy. I remember meeting it's like a quasi-famous painter in Baltimore. I was coming to finish my education in school. Went out to his studio. A friend invited me, and the artist asked, "Oh, do you have any questions?" And the first thing that popped into my mind was, "How do you draw knees?" And he was so excited to show me his secret recipe of drawing knees. So I actually stole the idea or the concept of approaching how to draw human knees. So backs are another thing. I'll admit I haven't quite mastered any. Let's call it shortcut. We'll just be honest. Coming up with a shortcut on how to draw knee on backs. So, we'll see. We'll see when it comes along. John Molina on YouTube has a question. Hi, Kurt. Do you ever use a digital medium to fix your pen and ink work? So you made a mistake and you want to fix it. Nope. I don't correct anything in digital. And the only digital program I have is Photoshop. And I do all of my fixing right here. I like it. I like seeing things not so perfect, if you will. Mistakes are such a harsh way of looking at making art. Like who's out there telling us this is right and this is wrong? Well, if you want to get ultra specific in answering that question, it's the audience, right? And everybody needs an audience to sustain themselves as an artist. But, with the advent of social media, it's getting more and more so people can just do what they want the way they want it and find their market or their fans or whatever, customers, however they want to put it. And one of the things I like is down and dirty art. And I'm really allowing myself to get more and more into, expressing myself that way, especially I just got this. Let me show this off. Where are you? Just hanging out with a good friend of mine, Dan Snoke, Rave Sensation, and I got myself a copy of John Tar. And this stuff I'm absolutely in love with. This is just pure, put it on paper and get it out there. Tell your story. Just tell your story. And this story is just bonkers. So I just got this like a week ago. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this. But, this, and then of course, let me grab one of my Bibles here. Ken Landgraf, New York City Outlaws. I mean, this is This is it right here. This is it. If I ever run it, and then you can see all these screens. Let me see if we can get. You know what? Let me show. I have his Ghoul Butcher. And there's a great spread. Yeah, this one. This spread is like. This is perfect for like meditating on making moves. Not the let's say clearest or cleanest approach, commercially speaking, but it's all there. It's undeniable. So I don't know how anybody could be turned off by, this work. I know. I have it right now off. I'm going to keep it right off to the side just to keep me in check. And if you ever do get a chance, go to Ken's YouTube channel, which is Landgraf Ken. I believe that's what it is. I think that's his. And man, he does about like 20-minute to even shorter inking demonstrations. And oh man, I've been bugging him lately. He hasn't been doing them because he has a ton of commissions. But next time I commission him, it'll be a part of the contract. Is to get him to put them on his YouTube channel. I just think they're precious. An art historian's, necessity. We need that kind of stuff. The documentation. Because a lot of these lines, I'm laying in, I'm not being too precious with. It's more like just another layer of the pencils, And then the reason I go on the 8.5 by 11 is it doesn't allow me to get too precious and detailed with anything. So this is, 15, 20 minutes worth of drawing, if that. I think I came back to it after I did one pass. I ended up getting that knee in here. Let me show off the JoJo cover again. Here's that JoJo cover. There's JoJo. Where's JoJo? There he is. Can't see on Instagram. You can't really see it. Still trying to work that whole thing out. And yeah. So just getting this stuff. This is like the getting ready for the serious part of the drawing. This is going to be fun. I'm going to cut a piece out, and then this will be some vegetation to give me like a foreground piece. It's going to come out nice. It's going to be fun to play with. This is a total playing with podcast here. Or not even podcast. I don't even know what I'm saying. Podcast. Just a live stream drawing, I guess, event they call it. This is just starting out too, so there'll be probably 4 or 5 parts. Another question from John Molina on YouTube. I was asking because I have ruined my drawings when attempting to ink them. Talked to David about it. He told me to make copies of the art or to Lightbox. Yeah, Lightbox is great. I mean, ruining art, can't really agree with it, but whatever you have, definitely make copies and, correct it by putting another. If your style needs to have more of a precious line, as what I would call your brother David's work. David works very. As a matter of fact, I have an example right here. Here's David Molina's cover for Crom the Barbarian, and you can see. And what I mean by precious is that, you know, there's got to be one single line that, you know, calls out the shape of the top of that head and the front, you know, these, you know, this arm into that chest or to that arm to that forearm. These are precious lines. And there's a lot of time and sensitivity to come to it. I'm not that precious with my lines, but he is definitely using that technique where, you know, a light box. I know he penciled this. I think there's two versions of these pencils. And I think there's even two versions of the inks. And this is on, these are the screens on the second version, if I remember. This is on my Crom updates with David Molina. So if you're here on the channel and you want to jump out, go and look up for Crom updates, David Molina, and you'll get that conversation. So so the bigger question is, John, do you feel like the lines have to be, you know, that that precious, or can you allow them to be, let's say, wonky? You know. What is today? Today's Monday, right? Yeah. A lot of activity out there. A lot of people, especially on Instagram, swinging by to say hi. Hi. Keeping this Ken Landgraf spread from Ghoul Butcher off to the side just to make sure I stay on point. Adding to John's question, my answer, you know, one of the things I'm starting to promote is, who are you making the art for? Are you making the art for yourself just because you got the time and you have the idea and you got some supplies and you love whatever and you're going to make a drawing of it? Or are you trying to get work in the industry, need to impress upon some publishers so you can get paid the big bucks? Because if you are, who is it that's out there paying big bucks for artists nowadays? Toes. Another difficult. Feet, hands and feet, you know, they're a challenge. I'd love to see some of your work, John. And don't worry, I won't compare you to your brother, because all of us are just unique individuals trying to get by. Most importantly, enjoy ourselves, especially when it comes to like drawing. It's amazing how many people just not feel like they're not really enjoying themselves when it comes to art. Because you really can tell when somebody is enjoying their art. They're enjoying what they're doing. As I say, that's always an easy sell. That you can take to the bank. A lot of what I'm doing right now is what I would call noodling. I'm just sort of creating some indications of what ultimately this thing is and how it should look. Because one of the reasons I'm incorporating this Ken Landgraf um, is the screens is I love the idea of collaging. So that's one big thing that I want to really start getting into my work. So I just need to figure that out. I need to figure out how to get collaging into my work. And this was the first thing, was to kind of create screens. You guys have inspired me. I love listening to your videos. That's cool, John. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen to us. All right, there's Crom. So now we're going to deal with this upside down. I think I'm going to bring her right side up. That's how I first started drawing her. You can see her right side up. Oh, yeah, right side up from upside down. I think with Instagram, it's like one of these things where everybody's flying very quickly through it. And they're noticing that I'm live. So they stop by. I think it's cool. But on YouTube, I always have somebody, if not a couple people, hanging out. And I love that. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this, is to send out that signal. Hey, I'm out here making Crom comics, sword and sorcery fantasy. Want to find what they call in the marketing world the tribe, your tribe. Now, once again, let me show off the JoJo cover. Problem is, darn it, it's going to be hard to show. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to show that part because you can't see it on the other side when it comes to the. But let me do it anyways. For the YouTubers. I just got to think of it as right side up. Again, flaring nostril. Need a quick look at my ref here. Okay. One of the other things I'm really getting more curious about in my comic book making is cartooning. I remember when a friend of mine suggested I watch cartoons kayfabe back in, gosh, I think it was whenever COVID was starting to come around, April or so. He's like, "Oh, Kurt, you gotta watch these guys. Cartoons kayfabe, man. You'll love them." And I don't even know if I said this to my friend, but I kept thinking to myself, I was like, well, why do I want to watch something that's about cartoons? I'm a comic book artist with a fine arts angle. And then, of course, COVID hit, and man, you had nothing but time on your hands. And I remembered Carlos saying, "You got to check out Cartoons Kayfabe." Man, I was hooked. And I was hooked for one major reason, and that was uh, the the educational approach Ed and Jim took to analyzing comics. They just really nailed it. They both came in with an objective point of view to look at comics, that comic particular, and cartooning. I think is historically you are rooted in it when it comes to comic books. I don't believe it's an escapable thing, even if you're pushing it out to the fine arts point that I would like to ultimately do. And the reason I bring it up is I've been looking at a lot of old 50s and 60s girly cartoons or men's magazine cartoons, like Bill Ward, um, Bill Wenzel. So these are just masterpieces in one panel studies. This hair. Good thing to remember when doing hair, no matter how long or short, do it in clumps, patches, pieces, and parts of the hair. Although it looks like I'm, you know, taking my time to draw every strand. It's quite the opposite. I'm just thinking more faux stippling. One of the other books I got from SPX. This is long loaded. Whatever. If you're on Instagram, J Webster Sharp. This book just came out. I've been waiting for this book forever. I've been following her, and It is body horror, which is not my cup of tea, but it really doesn't matter because her mastery of stippling is just what's going on back here. Her mastery of stippling is just look at this. It's incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. And every time I see something she posts on Instagram, it reminds me to stipple. So once again, got a stipple. I'm just gonna throw some more over here just to see what happens because I'm also looking for effects. Effects. She's about ready to pop out of her top here, hanging upside down. Because you'll see in a moment how close this lion-ish claw is near her. Yo, yo, ah. I'd even try to get a sound effect in there. Eek. And do it upside down. Like eek. E-E-E-K upside down. Oh, that would be cool. I'm going to have to put that in there. Oh. Let me see. What do I have to do that with? I'm going to do something a little chunky. Let me do it with this. Here we go. That's perfect. Oh, that's good. That is real good. I love it. So then when you turn it back upside down, look at that. That is fun. That is fun. That, my friends, is the magic of art. This is what we're always looking for, is that kind of thing. Thing is, it's probably going to cover up the paw, the claw paw, but I have a couple ideas of what I'm going to do there. So we'll find out. Let's just keep moving. Keep moving. Get some rope here. Put things all tied up, bound. I guess I should say this is not suitable for work. But boss, it's just a cartoon. Depravity. And that's what it is. Depravity. Mm-hmm. Let's go one more here. One of the things about cartooning is the symbolism, making objects. That rope thing I stole 100 years ago. From somebody, I can't even remember who. And it was probably a cartoon I saw. Nothing like a well-manicured damsel. Why not? Remember, people, this is escapism. You are escaping reality when you're entering the world of comic books, at least the comic books that I enjoy making. So be warned. Don't really care for reality right now. It's too real. It's too real. What's going on is just too real. Too surreal, actually. Here we go. Here's the knees. If you remember earlier, I was saying about the famous artist, semi-famous artist that I asked a question. He said, "Oh, yeah, any questions like that?" And he basically just said it's two circles. That's it. Two circles. So, and then, technically work around it. Now, one of the other things I'm going to flash this up real quick. Like, life drawing has just started around May. The one place I do it at Delaware Contemporary, downtown Wilmington, Doesn't do it for July and August, so we just started back up. But I cannot stress enough how important it is if you want to do realistic style comic books. You're going to need to do life drawing. There's just no getting around it. There's just no getting around it. So it was a great session back in there. And then I had really good news that a second place around me is doing a Sunday, and this is on occasion too. So you're around this area, a Sunday and a Wednesday. So I have a Wednesday session 9th of October. So I'm looking forward to that. Person hosting it, I know by friends. So can't wait to thank them because it's really hard. And expensive if you're going to try to do it on your own, which I have. And what I mean by own, I have friends, a lot of fine arts friends, where we'll chip in money, contact one of the artists we usually, models that we usually work with at other places, and they're cool with us. And we'll do an event at a friend's studio. All right. Right, this is really coming together. I'm ready to head to this lion. Kind of want to go. Like John Carter, Man of Mars on this creature here. It's one of the nice things about this these Fudenoskes, even when they're starting to run out of ink, they give a really nice line. I push them all the way to the end. An end just means basically they're just not, they got no ink in them. So, all righty now, let's get to the. You can see right there, but we got that upside down eek. This is so much fun. I love it. I love it. I love how this is coming together. This is so much fun. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Crom. All right, here we go. Let's start with the eyeball. So I really need to give this, I'm just going to call him a lion creature. Just going to give him a lot of jagged lines. Really accentuate its furry. Oh, we're also going to get another snarling nostril. Mm-hmm. So Crom's knee is flying. It's like a knee kick. Hee-cha! Hee-cha! Get you. Gonna get you. You know Crom's gonna bust this lion in half to get the save the girl. One of his girlfriends. So if you're reading Crom, you're familiar with Crom, my version of Crom, as I think a lot of other artists would agree, Crom is not monogamous. He has an affection for his sister. We'll talk about that at another point. But more importantly, his job, one of his jobs, I should say, is saving the damsels and getting payment. Okay, so there we go. And then we're going to make the old tracted claw. Okay, I'm going to bring this one out here. One more over here. Trying to see if I can incorporate the upside down eek. I'll figure something out. All right, and then flip this. I'm going to have to do it this way because I really want to get, Paul still has to play its part. I think I'll just come back with a white pen on there. What? I even push this over like this. Cool. Very cool. And then one of the, give him an ear here. And then one of the thoughts I had was really repeating this jagged line all the way through his mane, and then probably do another effect, kind of white, like a white effect. So a little nourishment here. Woo, yes, sir. This is a good starting point. And then the big thing is I'll make an indication that there's a back of this lion creature. All right. Whew. All right. I do declare. Good times. Good times. I'm going to close. This is about an hour I spent on this. And I am going to. This is the sketch I started. I did a day or two ago. And then I'll take everybody through one last time. And what I did was, thank you, John Molina. So I'm using this as my starting point. Let me see what it does here. Then I did found a background. This was from Wegmans grocery store outside. They had a bunch of plants. I thought this was a really cool alien looking plant. Turned it into a screen tone, if you will. And then I mapped that in with the sketch. There's my sketch, which you can also see there. And then you see that's where I added it in. And then what happened was I was able on layers in Photoshop to, basically go to about a 10% opacity just to give me the lines. And then today, spent an hour just getting some black outlines in just to get some indication on stuff. And this is looking great. I'm very happy with it. So thank you everybody for joining me. I usually do this around this time, but if you catch me on the after play, always taking comments, answering questions. Today, one last thing is the Fudenosuke hard tip from Tombow was the pen that I was using. It's the only pen that I was using. So, this is a must. This is basically my go-to to get things started. So with that being said, I am going to say good day and encourage, please, if you have that desire to draw, do it. Do it. Just draw. Don't worry about it. So, all right. Once again, thank you so very much. And we will see you next time. The next part, which will be part 2, I'll definitely be doing some of my liquid frisket, or what they also call liquid masking fluid. And with my, with these two, this is with a brush, and this is like a paint marker pen. So those will do that, and then I will be covering it with a gray graphite wash. So, and then I'll be sharing some other news about where we're at with Innovator Studio Crom Anthology, which is the follow-up to my Crom the Barbarian collected. And if you are interested, that is over at crom.com, which, whatever. It's pretty easy, as a matter of fact. cromthebarbarian.com. That's where you can get your copy. And there'll be some other fun stuff coming down the pipeway, which I will keep everybody posted to. So once again, thank you for taking the time, checking in, whether you saw me live or you're catching me on the replay. So with that being said, thank you. Bye-bye.